Last week, we looked at a duplex that we just finished, and kind of like a little bit smaller version of the same duplex that's gone really well for us. We're heading over to look at two more that we recently finished. It's a little bit bigger, so it's a three bedroom, 1.5 bath duplex. Um, they've been kind of interesting. They're a little bit more expensive. We have 4 units total, so the first 2 units leased up very quickly, no issues. Second 2 units have been a lot slower. Um, Honestly, I'm not really sure why. At least for me, perceivably, it's in a little bit nicer area, or at least what I would consider a nicer area. So I don't know if the demand's a little bit lower, maybe it's just a little bit more saturated where there's more rentals available close by, or maybe it's just that price point just being slightly higher, which has caused these ones to rent a little bit slower. And the first couple rented quick, but the second two um, rented a little bit slower. So I think we've still got one that we're trying to lease up that we're gonna walk through today. We did one price reduction, yeah. So the first two rented at full price at $14.95, and again those rented fairly quickly. And then we try to be pretty, at least recently, we've been trying to be pretty aggressive with price reductions if needed. We reduced the price down to from $14.95 to $13.95, so $100 price reduction. And another unit rented, but we still have one available. Like I said, it's just been slower than I would have anticipated. And it's funny because like the exteriors are two different colors, but short of the exteriors being two different colors, they're totally identical. And the darker colored exterior rented immediately. So I don't know if it's as simple as like people don't like the exterior color. Like I don't know. It's just the one has been a lot slower to rent even at the reduced price. And so the one thing is I try to we put 4 units into service at once, which isn't a ton, but it's something in one little spot. And so it does take a little bit longer sometimes for those to absorb. And then I'm fairly confident that when we go to renew them, we'll be able to get the price up to where the other ones are at, or even a little bit higher. I don't love doing price reductions in general. The biggest thing for me is like once we set the price, I would almost always rather start not like high or priced out of the market, but on the higher side and see what the market will bear. We can usually tell by the amount of inquiries and or showings that we get. If we're getting steady inquiries and steady showings, I think we're priced fine and we leave it as is. If we're not getting any or very little inquiries or showings, I think a lot of times we're priced too high. And in the past, what I found is usually there's like a sweet spot. If we can find that, once we get just below that sweet spot threshold for that unit, we'll see that uptick in inquiries and or showings, and then we're probably good on price. It's just been different, especially the last couple of months. I think leasing's just been slow, and I think there's a lot of vacant units that are available on the market, and so it's just more competitive than the past. And so again, sometimes maybe they were priced right, and we just weren't doing a good enough job on following up, or there was something like they weren't showing up well, or it's just not in an area where people were actively looking for rentals. There's a million things that play into it, but at the end of the day, it's like if we're doing a good job with marketing them, we're doing a good job with follow-up, and we're still not getting inquiries or leasing traction, it's probably priced too high, and we need to look at reducing the price a little bit. I think we've shown these units before and while we were building them, so we don't have to do like a full tour on them, but they're completely finished now. I don't think that we've done a video since they've been finished. Again, they're 3 bedroom, 1.5 bath, so it's got a small bedroom downstairs, which I'd probably use for an office, a half bath under the stairs, and then a full 2 bedrooms, 1 bath upstairs. They do have nice little fenced in backyards, which is a nice selling point for the tenants, and other than that, very similar to a lot of the other units we're doing. Yeah, I personally like the idea of having the fenced backyards on these little units. It's just, again, it's a private little space for people if they have pets or kids, or if they just want a nice little backyard area to come and spend some time. It costs a little bit extra doing the fenced in backyards, but I personally think it's worth it. I don't think we're getting a higher rent per se, but I do think like when people are shopping between apartments and like these smaller townhome type units, I think the fenced backyard is like a selling point that helps us stand apart from the apartment units. At least personal, it's something that I would see as a big benefit. Yeah, the only thing I can think of is they got this crappy house or duplex that needs to be redone in the backyard. One thing we talked about is there was a lot of overgrown trees. I probably would have preferred to leave some of them up there and just have a little green space barrier. It already is better than it was, and as that stuff continues to grow up, it'll probably be, you won't be able to see them as well. So that may help just give some privacy. Or if somebody redoes that at some point, it would be a nice little. It's a nice area. There's just a couple. But honestly, it's probably these three right here. They're like the last few stragglers that need to get redone.
Have you considered trying to buy those?
It's not a bad idea. We should probably send mailers to them. I have no idea who owns them or what the deal is with them. They honestly, all three of them look. At least these two look vacant. I'm not sure about this one.
I feel like when we get done at the end of this video, we should drive over.
We'll drive over there and send mailers on all of them because that would probably solve the problem right there, Ben. There's a guy that owns several lots down here, and we had the opportunity to buy them earlier on. I just didn't have the cash or the finances to do it at that time, and now he won't sell them to us. And so I imagine at some point he may sell them to us, or we'll develop them. I just don't think it's a priority to him. He's got other stuff going on. He just doesn't care, I don't think. This area down here was like horrible a couple years ago. I bought 5 duplexes down here, and there was 2 other existing houses with like squatters in them, and it was just all kinds of drug problems and crime problem. And over the last, I would say 3 or 4 years, it's cleaned up substantially. And so it's much nicer. And again, I think if whether he builds them out or if he sold them to us, we would build them out. If the rest of these lots got built on, I think that would kind of just continue to like improve this little part of town. But even then, it's way better than it was. I just think it's low priority for him. There's a lady that owns that house on the corner that we've reached out to buying it. She says she wants to fix it and doesn't want to sell it, but there's been no progress on it for several years. It's been boarded up. So
lots of times we talk about the negative in like real estate investing, and we have like the last couple weeks with tenants trashing a couple units. But I thought it'd be pretty cool to talk about the guy next door who has a rental next to you. And every time we see him, he's like, bro, he's like, you're doing great work.
yeah,
Like,
it's fun to run into people like him because that's not normally what we get. Usually we have neighbors that are pissed off at us because we're wanting to develop the vacant lots next door to them. The guy that lives next door, I think he was like owner occupying one side of a duplex doing like a house hack. And he's owned that and lived here since before, when it was like they were having all the problems with the squatters and people breaking into just real rough. I remember pulling up next to the duplex we did right there, and there was just some real rough looking dude hanging out inside of it, or there was like camped out inside of it. And so like he's ecstatic every time we run into him. I mean, he makes a point to tell us how much he loves what we've done with the neighborhood, and he's very appreciative. And so we get hate on a lot by people, unfortunately, because we're trying to develop in neighborhoods, which sucks that people don't see the benefit of it. But it's nice when we do run across people like him that not only see the benefit of it, but really appreciate it.
you were a new investor and you had the money to do like build to rent, and you could only pick one type right now, like townhouse, 2-level, a 2-1, a 3-1, 3-1.5. Like if you had to lock into one with what you're seeing right now, what would you choose?
It depends so much on the area. So like for Little Rock, I mean, I think I like the 2-1 duplexes we're doing right now. And mainly just because there seems to be decent demand for the units from renters. And it also seems like there's a decent demand with like real estate investors that want to buy them when they're completed. And so I think that would be a good one. For like me personally, like I would love to build some nicer, like bigger townhomes, so like 3-2s with garages and stuff, but it's really hard to get that stuff to pencil in cash flow right now. And so I think if I was a brand new investor and I was going to try to build something, at least here in Little Rock, I'd probably be looking at a smaller 2-unit duplex with like, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath type setup. I mean, I think it seems to be like it's a sweet spot right now. Yeah, so these are those crappy duplexes on the back side of the ones that we were just the new ones we were just touring. So we're going to go ahead and send them mailers and see if they want to sell.
For someone who doesn't know, like tell them kind of how the app works. So like you look up the location, or like it's like literally got the houses on a map.
On a map, yeah. So you literally like you locate yourself, you click on the house itself, and you like add it, and then I take a picture of the house, and then I click send mailers, and it'll send them a postcard like every 3 weeks and you can set the time and cadence, but I do it like every 3 weeks for like 4 months. They'll get a postcard that says, hey, my name's Chase, I'm interested in buying your house, and it shows an actual picture of the house. If you're interested in selling it, call me. and we send a lot of them on lots. We still send them occasionally on fixer-uppers. I used to send them more on fixer-uppers, but over the years, I've bought several pieces of real estate like that. Buy 2 of the single-family home build-to-rents that we did on Johnson Street. These ones are like on the home stretch, so we're doing the landscaping just went in last week, and we're doing the last little punch list items on the inside before clean out. These ones will be, they're listed for rents. We're trying to pre-lease them right now, but we'll probably start showing them pretty soon. And these ones are for a customer, a turnkey company. They'll be. I think they already have them pre-sold, so I think we just need to get them leased, and then once they're leased, then get them sold. Thanks for watching. If you're getting value out of this, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any interest in build to rents and you want us to build something for you, don't hesitate to reach out.